Kind of looks like Tiny shaved. I wonder if the voice is back. Clean cut Tiny? I don't know. Let's see.
Tiny's brother? I don't know. Anyway, ignore the top. It's a little feminine, but I'm metrosexual. And found some lost footage in the archives. This is the Preparing the Mermaid canvas. We're gonna put this one out there because you've watched a couple of stick with me's with the mermaid, and sorry about that. It got lost in the depths of the phone, but we found it, and here it comes. Again, metrosexual. Don't judge. Yeah. I'll say hi to Tiny for you.
This is the aftermath of the map. So I now am going to get ready for recording the beginning of the mermaid. So I need to get it out when I find it here. Let's see, where is it? Mermaid, 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 mermaid. Oh, back here. Here's my mermaid. Yes, I reorganized my closet yet again because I got a package of goodies from an anonymous donor and had to make room. So I've got my cardboard stack. Okay, we don't need to tour the closet again. So I've got my mermaid. And here's my binder. All you gals with your organization. So let's take a quick look. Hold on. We're going to take a quick look. All right. So I have not, again, I have not created my cover, but here's my categories. So map, okay. Letters. You guys email me. I keep that stuff. Receipts. Forms. My OCD. I have my forms that I've created for doing a review. Information I need to track. So I have forms. Because sometimes you don't feel like booting up the computer. Then I've got my full square drill. My full round. My partial round. And other products. So this would be, caught myself saying so, storage containers, adhesives, things like that, other products. Then vendors, comparisons, storage and organization, tips and tricks, DIY and hacks, topics and stories. This is the Gone Off My Meds Bible. I finished the peacock, so this needs to be put away in my permanent storage for leftovers. See where I was going with the colors there? My little... Cute. Okay. Now, here's... Get this... Hang on again. This is my setup during filming. My spreadsheet with these are all of the people who've responded for the map. I've got your name, if you have a nickname. So, okay, nickname here. I didn't put that in there. Let's put it in. Brandy, whether or not you're a tuber. Yes, she is. Hometown, state, country, what you wrote, if I have your email address, what Facebook groups you're in, and any notes that I have on you. And then each one of these are sortable, so I can go, I just want to see who I have in the UK. And here's my UKs. Now, I haven't fixed everything because I like all of it to be uniform, but clear my filter. Occasionally I need to just fix the, oops, I didn't want insert, I want home. We're going to go Arial, and then 16. And then that's going to fix all those little, see, they're all fixed. Everything's the same. And then, of course, I have to fix, because I like to have the grid. There we go, all borders. So that is my organization for my map. I have a tab for income. There's not much there. My subscriber list. That would have been for the giveaways that I did. Put everybody on it. And then viewer shout outs. This is where you say something that strikes my fancy. So I put who it was and what they said. And now I've got a box if I've acknowledged it. Product info. Here's that form electronically. And I can do the name and then all of the things I want to fill out. I haven't gotten it all on here. My review checklist. So here's what I want to cover when I do a product review. Comments. I haven't done anything with this. I probably don't need this page. And then video info. This would be, I haven't filled it out yet, but yeah, this is my mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had 8 tabs. Gwen, I really don't need the 1, so 7 tabs. That's my data. Okay, let's close that. We save our changes. But yeah, dual monitors so that I can see the Excel nice and big. And then I use my other one for doing the Google Maps. Or if I want to look at YouTube or something, look for comments, whatever. I've got my second screen there. So that's how I got it set up for that. Okay, now let's turn this off. Okay, mermaid. I have very limited time. We're going to have a date night tonight, spend some time together because it's the end of my weekend. And I need to get this little bit in here real quick so that while I'm actually working on my painting while we watch a movie together, that I've already done the intro. I kitted this up a long time ago for the mermaid. And let me get the mermaid. Okay. It is big. It's a big one. This was, you know, the whole, I want everything to fit in a poster frame, so let's buy really big stuff. I don't like this paper at all. I like to start in the top left because I'm right-handed and I don't want my hand sitting in the adhesive. I want to just open up what I can reach. If you've noticed, you'll see it when I do it tonight, I tend to stabilize with my pinky, and I'll put my tray right there. So I don't tend to open up much, but I don't like the white paper. It doesn't want to lay back nice. The parchment paper. Shout out. Check out the channel. Lorma. I don't know if you were the very first with this idea, but you're the first one I ever heard of doing it. So I'm going to replace at least a little bit with the parchment paper so that I can see what's going on. I don't know if I'm going to get the whole thing done before he's had his smoke and made his dinner, but I told him I'd be down there shortly to watch a movie. But the goal would be to replace all of that with the parchment. Let's see if I can do that real quick. All right. It's getting dark, I know. Let's see if that helps. Oh, shiny. Shiny. Okay. Now, I start in top left, so that's my priority, is to get rid of that. Don't like this stuff at all. And I have quite a few wrinkles and creases and all of that. I still have never ironed one. I have been doing the scratch thing as I go, and I think that's what I'm going to do today. It's really a lot worse than I remember it being. I don't know if that's from me, whatever. It is what it is. But I'll just take my pen and scratch at it. So, God, I'm like hypersensitive to me saying so all the time now. Lorna, total credit to you on this one. Let's see. I go a little past because the odds of me actually laying it down straight on the first shot are pretty small. Okay, here we go. Extra crap in the way. Getting all crazy. Yep, see, it's off now. My shirt stuck. I think you can see over my shoulder. I hope so. Go a little more generous this time. There you go. Hopefully I got it straight. I think I'm going to make it. Yep. It's not necessarily straight, but I made it. I find too, the parchment really will help you identify your problem areas that you need to work on. So once I do this, you can see how many of these really bad wrinkles I have. Paint with Diamonds, this was the one that spent some time in the ocean. Got very wet. This was my soaking wet painting. They made it right. But I have not. No, this is not the soaking wet. I'm sorry, I take that back. This is not the soaking wet. The tree was the soaking wet. This was the apology gift of $25. This is what I bought, and it is lots and lots of wrinkles all over it. I guess I would have to look back at the original unboxing to see if it was this bad or if I created this mess. This was the one that I sat there with the bubbles forever. Yeah. See how well that turned out. Okay. This is not gonna go. So I will just do it this way. I'm gonna flip it over. The parchment paper that I bought is too narrow to just get away with 2 sheets. It would have been really, really close if I had lined it up with the pattern edge, but it has the extra sticky around the border, and I'm not taking the time right now to cover that. I tend to just do that as I go with Scotch tape. So knowing I'm just going to have this narrow strip down the middle, I'm not that concerned. I'm not going that way, I'm too frugal. I am so tempted to cut that off and use it because of my being frugal, but I'm going to resist because I don't want to look like I'm a crazy person. That's enough? Yes. Okay, good. There you go. So we're going to start the mermaid. I will futz with this without an audience. I just wanted to get it so I could take it downstairs. Okay. I'll insert a picture of what we're doing. It's exciting. Okay, here we go. I just found... I had it all along. Jesus. Okay. Okay. I just realized I still have not gotten, sorry, I still have not gotten the missing drills from Paint with Diamonds that I ordered however freaking long ago that was. Son of a bitch. Okay, so really, I know I don't have the box because it was trash. I'll have to look, but I don't think I got them. I think I got them from Diamond Art Club. I know that. And I stuck them in the box. But I have not gotten them from... I don't have the drills. Son of a gun. Okay, now I'm pissed. That was how long ago? 2 months? I don't know. Whatever. I guess I'll have to work around it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And it sounds like I'm probably not going to be drilling tonight because it's 7:30 and he said he wants to go to bed at 8. So it's probably not happening. By the time I get everything set up, it's going to be time to go to bed. It sucks. I do need a container for shit drills though. Separate. Okay. God, that sucks. I don't have... Here's my leftovers. Yeah, I don't have it. That blows. Okay. Well, hello everybody. So, I have to say so. The mermaid. We're gonna get it prepped now. A few things. I already did the parchment paper, Lorma's idea for the parchment paper. I did it once, and I immediately saw how bad my wrinkles were. So I pulled it off and tried to smooth it out again, and it still looked really bad. And I noticed when I pulled the parchment paper back, the recessed valleys, the adhesive was really shiny. And then where the parchment paper had been, it was more of a matte finish. I'm a little concerned as to what kind of residue is coming off of the parchment paper and staying on the adhesive, if it's going to affect things overall. I'm a little concerned. The other thing I noticed was when I tried to get the parchment paper off, now, asterisk, mine's from the dollar store, Dollar Tree. It was $1. It's the cheap ass stuff. It started to, didn't come off clean. You know, it began to split and left shrapnel that I had to get with my fingernails, so I wasn't real thrilled with that. As far as the difference, yes, you can see through it. Not real well, though. A little. You can see through it. Which is nice for being able to see the lines because, well, I'll cover that in a second. This stuff, when you fold it back, tape doesn't stick to it to hold it down. I mean, it does if you get the, it's just, and you can't see through it at all. I don't like the white paper, except for it comes off really easy. And it doesn't tend to shred. Shred, that's a good word. It would shred along the edge. So, my next step was then I ironed it. And Brandy, Abstract Crafter, has a video on how to iron your canvas. This is the first time I've ever ironed one. I'm going to deal with that too. Now, I didn't follow her instructions to a T. I just ironed it without, I started with the towel. I'm like, ah, okay. So then I just ironed it without, and I turned the setting down real low, and then it wasn't doing anything, so I cranked it up to steam, and it seemed to help. It certainly reduced the wrinkles that you could see from the back side. But on the front side then, you know, I had the parchment paper, which the wrinkles are smoothing out, but the paper, of course, wasn't releasing, so it wasn't really fixing the problem. So I ironed it, I brought it back in here. This is when I discovered that pulling the parchment paper off, it was shredding. I put the original paper back on, smoothed it out as best I could, took it back out, ironed it again, and that's where we stand. So, to recap, I pulled the white paper off, I put the parchment on. I noticed the wrinkles. I tried to scrape them out. I pulled the parchment back, put it back, took it, ironed it, pulled the parchment back, put it back again, ironed it again. I missed a step. Still bad. Pulled it back again, put the white paper on, took it out, ironed it again, brought it back in and put the parchment back on, and it still looks bad. So I think I've ironed the shit out of it. That's all that's going to happen with the ironing. From this side, it looks good. And this might be okay. I don't know. But I'm to the point now where I'm just going to start sticking diamonds, because I don't want to flirt with this anymore. I am not a patient person when it comes to these things. I just want to play with my new toy. So at this point, I think what I'll do is when I get to an area, I've unveiled an area, and I see any kind of imperfection that can be felt that's going to create an uneven surface, I will do scraping with the pen or popping the bubbles or whatever I need to do. Now, because this is double-sided tape, when it was originally put on, the adhesive is the exact size as this paper, so good luck ever getting that back on again. And I hate it. So, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to start over with the parchment, and I've got some tricks for that. I think parchment's catching on. Lorma has been instrumental in spreading the word about the parchment for sure. Great idea, Lorma. And she's got a video on it. I've also seen Allison using parchment, and I am going to start over and parchment the shit out of this. I'm going to go with that long run that I'm going to like it. But let's give it a try, because I know I hate this, and I don't have clear that big. And I got this sticky stuff all over. I don't buy washi tape, cheap ass. I use painter's tape or Scotch tape. So I'm going to just start over. This stuff is cheap enough. So you can see right there. See how it tore? It doesn't come off as easily. And it tore again there. So again, mine's from Dollar Tree. It's probably the cheapest possible parchment paper that you could buy on planet Earth. As long as you're careful, you'll get it. So I got it. Here's the other thing with the parchment. When you pull it off, it's like curling ribbon. Now it's curled. And, oh Jesus, that was awesome. Spirit Day at work. Yeah, I don't wear t-shirts and I hate the color orange, but it's Spirit Day. Which reminds me, I have to tell you a story from last week's Spirit Day. Somebody brought in breakfast for everybody. There's a couple of people who will, stop and bring in breakfast for the whole team. Now, the team is like 15, 20 people. So, I mean, they're shelling out some dough to be feeding that many people. Anyway, I went over and got myself like a sweet roll or something. And I was diamond painting away, and I set my paper plate down right in the middle of my adhesive while I ate my, I think, a donut. And yeah, then I realized what I had done like a half an hour later, and my plate was just stuck right to it. And my cube mates had a good chuckle. Tis the mermaid. Right, here we go. If I was really diligent, I'd like work on all of this crap right now, but I don't want to deal with it right now. I bet you can really see, yeah, you can see that really good with that light shining that way. I mean, you can see. This is from Paint with Diamonds. Not my favorite company. I will not be buying from them again. My two experiences with them were the Four Seasons tree. They call it Earth, Wind, Fire. But my Four Seasons tree, that's the one that fell in the ocean. This was the replacement. And you can see, not great. Again, I don't know I'd have to go back to the unboxing to see if it was this bad then. The lighting in the room was very different that day. It was daylight. This really, you can see there's some major shit going on here. So yeah, I won't be buying from them again. That's just my personal preference. I don't want to spend my money on something that's going to cause me frustration. My mental health is worth the extra money to not have these headaches. And I was missing drills. I have not gotten them yet. I didn't check to see how long ago that was, but it's been a while. So I'm still missing drills in this too. So that's awesome. What is this though? What is this? Oh, that's from Lori. I saw a mailing envelope. It was the book from Lori. So I'm going to parchment this up. And I work from top to bottom, left to right. I think I covered that. So I like to do about 10 squares at a time to open them up to work on. That's what I was doing at work. I was doing 5. Now when I say squares, I'm talking the 10 by 10, the outline. It's 100 drills. So I like to do 10. So like 2 by 5 or 5 by 2 or whatever it is. I'm just looking to see which way is going to make the most sense on this one as far as like colors being near each other. So I guess, let me see how many there are. I have to have it all work out mathematically in my head. Sorry. It's hard to see. Let's see here. It looks like 24. I'm going to check on the other side. It gets so dark over here you can't see the lines anymore. I just want to see how many there are across. Yeah, I can't see them over here either. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. $24. Okay. All right. So 6s and 4s and 3s and 2s. Any of it will work. So 24, 12, 6, Okay, 3. I guess we're going to go 3 by 3. Because you don't get a 5 out of 24. I could do 2 by 5. Well, I could do it that way. 2 by 5, that, yeah. Yeah, I'll do that, because that makes sense. Yes, I'll do that. I'm going to go 2 by 5 that way. So, not that any of that mattered. I just needed to work that out in my head. 2 by 5. Yep, okay. Now, I already tried it this way, and when I did that, it didn't go. I mean, it was like so close that it was ridiculous to try. So I'm not going to do that way, because then I ended up with this little narrow. So I'm going to go this way. And I'm not going to worry too much about... Actually, you know what? Before I do that, I'm going to Scotch tape the edge first. Why not? Might as well. Yeah, there's like crap stuck in it already. I do Scotch tape so so I can see what's under it, especially when you get over by the key. Painter's tape would be fine, but then you end up covering up your key, and that's not good. Yeah, you probably can't see jack shit. So. I'm going to feel wild and crazy go this way this time, even though it feels unnatural being right-handed to do it that way, but we'll try it so you can see what I'm doing more. Just put these on, I can't see. Obviously, you could do this with without having to do a continuous strip of tape, but I just want to, and you can't stop me. I've been straying from the norm on the internet, and I discovered I've been looking for new music, and I ran across, now I'm not into the comics, the Marvel comics and all that stuff, and just not my thing. About the only one that I really enjoy is Deadpool. Go figure. But I ran across videos of the Going Off My Meds song for the Harley Quinn trailer. Thought that was kind of funny, but the snippets were so small it didn't make sense to bother with it. That was kind of cool. I like the idea of her character from what I gathered. You know, psychiatrist going nutso. There's a lot of really awesome music out there that I would love to be using. And of course, you're dealing with copyrights. And a lot of this stuff, I haven't had any strikes on me, just in case anybody's wondering. I don't have any copyright strikes. The stuff I've used, like Queen, it is obviously copyright protected, but they let you use their music essentially in exchange for, if there's any monetization on your video, they get the money, or they can claim the money. They have rights to any money earned on a video where you're using their music. So, whether it's, you know, a couple of seconds or the full-blown 5+ minutes of Bohemian Rhapsody. So if you're gonna do it big, right? It didn't work when I tried to do it this way, but I'm going to do it again. Practice makes perfect. I want to acknowledge all of the positive reactions and responses and comments that we have gotten for Lori's book. I am so glad that you guys are enjoying that. I am, you know, I want to try different stuff. I don't want to just be painted into a corner, diamond painted into a corner. I want to do all kinds of stuff because that's how my mind works. I'm all over the place. What's the next shiny thing? Oh, look, squirrel. So that's me. I get bored and I got to move on. Got to do something else. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. And Lori, I'm glad that it's not some shit book, because that would have really sucked to have to read some piece of crap. So good job on the book, Lori. Love it. But Ghosts is right up my thing. I like that. I had never really made a declaration of whether or not I believe in ghosts, you know, until it happened to me. Yep. Now, again, I'm still not 100% sure, but I bet you can guess what percent sure I really am. 95% sure that I had a haunted house. So, let me tell you the story of my haunted house. I had a home in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. Now, when I say northwest suburbs, that's being pretentious. It was farmland. Gravel pits. We've talked about the quarries. And I'm trying to talk when I'm not making all kinds of noise. Let's do it this way. There we go. So the house that I had, let me paint a picture for you. So it is, let's see, late 1999, like the day after Christmas, 1999. Okay, I was getting divorced from my first husband. We had a very civil, amicable divorce. It didn't work out. We gave it a good go, and we agreed we're not meant to be together. So we stayed together through Christmas because my son at the time was only 6, I think. 6 years old or so. So we had a joint family Christmas at our house. You know, his parents and brothers and all that came, and then my parents came, and we had Christmas at our house. Now the whole family knew we were getting divorced, and that I was leaving like the following day. So, and I would have been, let's see, 1999, I would have been 28 years old. Okay, so day after Christmas, moving van comes, we move out, my son and I move. It wasn't his, it was from a previous relationship. My first husband and I didn't have kids. So anyway, we move into a house that I bought that was very old. It was built in 1866. No. Yes. I'm getting my houses confused. Yeah, 1866. It was the one in Wisconsin that was 1884. Yeah, the one in Illinois was older, 1866. So I believe that was like, you know, Civil War time. But anyway, I had heard a little bit of the history from the previous owner. She also was a young woman who was getting divorced. She and her husband were still in the house together, although they were getting divorced. Sold the house. I bought it. And she was into the history of the place just as I am. And so she told me some of the background, you know, who the family was that had owned it, the Welch family. And they had 5 kids, and of the 5 kids, and I think she gave me the names of the kids and the whole deal. And one or two of the kids never left the house. I mean, they spent their adulthood there, never moved out of mom's house kind of thing. So one of the kids, that never left was Melvin. And Melvin had, it doesn't want to, okay, we're just going to overlap just a little. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Melvin had on the first floor a room off the dining room that was between the dining room and the first floor powder room. And it was just a little room. Probably, it was like half the size of this room. So I would guess it was maybe 8 or 9 by 12. Maybe. Maybe not even that. Maybe it was like 7 by 11, 7 by 12, something like that. Kind of just a long, little, narrow room. And it had like the white board, the thick plank boards on the walls painted white, kind of that barn board look that got so popular, but this was like, you know, original. So that was Melvin's office, and I knew about Melvin, and he had some sisters. I don't know if his sisters did there. Anyway, that family had been owners of the house for like 40 years before the person I bought it from. Now, she was only there for a few years, so if I bought it in like 99, she probably bought it in, let's say, the early to mid 90s, so they probably had that house from like the 1950s through the 90s. So we're not talking like really old. They weren't obviously like the original family. I don't know. Anyway, my son being 6 and cable company hadn't been out yet, so we had no TV, nothing to really do. The only kind of video games that they had really back then for him was like Nintendo's Game Boy. So what I did was to try and keep him occupied and without going crazy bored and keep him out of my hair because I had to unpack, I bought him a PlayStation. Perfect. Okay. So, you know, he's sitting there playing PlayStation and I'm hanging pictures because I just want to get as much taken care of as I can. You know, before I got to go back to work, because it's the holidays. It's a couple days after Christmas, and he's going to go back to school, and I'm going to go back to work, and I've only got so much time, and I want to just get as much stuff out of boxes and up as possible. So I'm hanging pictures. Now, I had already like put away everything in the kitchen, and it was like a freshly remodeled kitchen. They had, I mean, it wasn't high end, but there was white laminate countertops, and the way that the configuration of the kitchen was, so if this was my door, there was this island that went from here around and around. Here was the stove. So this great big U-shaped island, and then over here you had the refrigerator and another like L-shaped unit. So this was just a big, massive expanse of white vinyl laminate countertop. And I put everything away so it was completely clear. And I had gone and gotten, you know, my picture hangers, which, as we talked about already with the picture rail. I had picture rail in that house, and I had all the cord and all the ribbons and all that stuff, and I'd been doing it in the house prior to that, the one that I owned with my soon-to-be ex-husband. That had picture rail. I've had lots of houses where you just don't put nails in there. So I was trying to find all my supplies to get the pictures hung, and I'm wandering around, and I set the hammer down in the kitchen on the counter, and I go all over the house looking for the rope and the cord and all that stuff and my little hooks to hang, and I finally find all this stuff, and I go back in the kitchen and the hammer's gone. So I go in the living room and I ask my son Cole, I said, "Did you take my hammer?" No. He probably didn't even answer because he's playing the game, not paying any attention at all. And he, you know, either non-responsive or a no or whatever, so I'm wandering around, and it's just he and I. You know, I'm a single mom. And I wander all over the house. Now, it was a big-ass house. I got a great deal on it. It was, I guess you'd consider it really a 6-bedroom. If Melvin's office technically had a closet and it had its own bathroom, it was a 6-bedroom house. So there was a lot of rooms to go through. So I went through the entire house trying to find the hammer, and I, like, getting frustrated. Cole, I swear, what did you do with my hammer? I didn't touch it. Go in the kitchen, and it's right smack in the middle of the island. Goosebumps, hair in the back of my neck. It's like midnight, and it's probably like December 30th or something like that. I mean, it's like before New Year's Eve, and I'm just like freaking out because it's cold and it's winter and there's no leaves on the tree and it's spooky and the wind and the old windows with the wind blowing through because, you know, they were the old double hung. Yeah, it was freaky as hell. So let's fast forward like 6 months. So now I've got a friend over, a girlfriend that I had met. And first time she ever came to see my house, and we're sitting there having drinks or whatever, and I'm telling her the story of the hammer. And while I'm telling the story, I get to the point where I say, and the hammer was sitting in the middle of the counter, and the lights go dim and back up in the living room. And I said, oh, that's freaky. Okay, I'm going to stop telling this story. And the lights stay burning, and I'm getting goosebumps again. And I sit there and I give it like 10, 15 seconds, drink a little of my drink. Okay, I think that was just a fluke. Let me finish the story. As soon as I said that, the lights dim and go back on again. And I'm like, fuck. She's like, I don't want to hear it. I do not care about the fucking hammer. Don't tell me. So that was the second weird thing. Now, we're going to fast forward again, probably another 6 months or so. And now I have a boyfriend who now has moved in with me. And his son, we have on weekends, every other weekend. And his son wore eyeglasses. So he's in one of the bedrooms. And my boyfriend, you know, he would always go check on him at night. He was a very doting father. He'd go check on his son. And he said that he opened up the bedroom door and the light from the hallway was shining in on his son's face. Now, he got a bed and there was an end table, and his son had his glasses sitting on the end table. Well, the boyfriend opened the door, the beam of light kind of shines upon, and he's looking, listening, seeing if he's asleep, trying to see if his eyes are open or shut. And while he's standing there perfectly still, looking at him, his glasses shoot off of the nightstand across the wooden floor and under the gap into the closet. I wonder, see now, because I'm telling the story and it's like, oh, that's just bullshit. And I totally understand if you don't believe me with my two witnesses. I still don't know if he was telling the truth, but he was freaking out that night. He came screaming down the hallway, oh my God. So I kind of have a feeling that something happened, but I don't know. So I didn't have a mean ghost or a malicious ghost. I had a impractical ghost. Impractical jokers. I don't know. He liked to play tricks on us, or she, or whoever it was. But it was kind of cool in that, you know, years later, I was stripping all of the wallpaper off in the living room. I didn't even realize when I painted it that it was actually like 3 layers of wallpaper with 20 coats of paint over the top. So I stripped it all the way down to the bare plaster, and on the plaster walls was all the kids from the original family had, well, I think the original family, not sure. Maybe not. Maybe it was the Welch family. Might have been. But they had written in pencil all over the walls, and like insulting each other. But of course it was like, you know, turn of the century digs. So it was like just corny, stupid shit. I can't even think of what they were, but they were like lame. But back then it was probably like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that about Billy. So that was kind of cool. I really kind of fought even painting over it. I hated to paint over it because it had been sealed in wallpaper, which means it was preserved. And to paint over it really kind of broke my heart. I did take photographs of all of the writing on the walls. And I had thought about like taking my favorite one, my favorite insult or whatever that was on there, and just putting a picture frame around it and not painting that spot. But where it ended up being was like down in some like completely illogical, like knee-high behind a door kind of thing. It's just kind of weird, but yeah. So that's my ghost story. Alright, so now, these are pretty darn close, but here is how you can get rid of any excess if you choose to. I'm going to show you that. You may already know how to do this. It's It's no great secret, but a ruler. And where is it? I know I had one. Here it is. And with that, I better check now. Now, obviously, you know, I don't have that much right here, but I don't want to be messing with that. So what I'm going to do is I am going to just leave that right where it's at, and I'm going to split the difference. I'm not going to try and go where the one ends. I'm going to go right in the middle of the two. There's not a lot to work with here, but this is what I want to do. So let's see. Let me do it this way so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Now, this is so thin. You hardly have to put any pressure, especially if your knife is really sharp. So I am just going to ever so slightly try and get that lined up as best as I can. And if I wanted to, I could also try and do it. Well, actually, that one, I tell you what, that one is like right on the line. I'm going to do, see, I would like to do it right on one of those lines. That would be nice. But, how's this one? This one's better. Okay, we'll do this one. So the grid line is right here. We're going to pretend that it's like really good, and it's not. So I'm splitting the difference. So this is actually like, you know, 1/4 of an inch wide or whatever, centimeter wide. I'm going to split right down the middle. That flat that's hanging over. I'm not going to try and cut where they meet. I'm going to cut halfway in between. Very light touch. I didn't lift my knife. Okay. Now, that goes away. Peel this back ever so slightly, and the second one that you cut through, probably could put just a slightly bit more pressure on that because it's kind of shredding, but you see the idea here. So by doing it that way, down here, I have created a absolutely perfect seam. Except for that spot, because it's shredded. But there we go. So I've got a perfect seam, no overlap, no stuff for my hand to be catching on. Got a little spot right there because it's shredded, but I'll get over that. I could always do a repair. It's kind of like doing carpet repair. I could put a little square there and cut over it, and then I have a little spot, but I'm not going to do that. So then, same thing over here. I have my Scotch tape, but I'm going to get rid of this first. So this one is actually, like that bottom one is like absolutely almost perfect. So I'm going to move that bottom one a little bit this way so that I've got a little more to play with. You should peel this back ever so slightly. And then it's all curled up. I don't know about this stuff. Oh, I didn't go far enough. This one. Okay. Okay. Got it. Now I have a nice overlap on that line. You want to go this way with it. Ay, caramba. I'm going to put this side down and this side over. Now it is a little hard to find that line when you're looking here, but down here, let's see here. Put this right there. I could use a pencil, but I don't think it went out. Okay. Now I need to flip it around because again I'm right-handed. Wait a second, what is going on with this thing? I don't think these line up in the middle. What the hell? Maybe they do. It's the weirdest thing. Okay, yeah, it does. Okay. So bizarre. Okay. Over here then. Did it again. I'm getting a little irritated now. No, shit. Oh well, we're gonna get close. You get the idea. You get the idea. Don't lift the knife. Holy hell, if I use the wrong side of the knife, that would be awesome. Okay. There you go. All right, and then if you wanted to, you could do the same around the edge, and I'm going to because it's going to drive me crazy with all that messy stuff. So we'll just cut that off as well. If anybody else has, I stopped myself from saying that word. If anybody else has ghost stories, please do tell. Do you believe in ghosts? I'm still not sure I do. Isn't that odd? That reminds me of another story. Okay, and I lifted my knife, but I didn't move my ruler. I was probably 8, 9, and my dad has a sister by the nickname of Cookie. Cookie has a very strong personality. Cookie does enjoy being the focus of attention. I do not. I am, especially when I was a little girl, very, very shy and quiet. Well, we had some sort of celebration family dinner at a really fancy restaurant. I'm guessing it was probably something along the lines of, maybe it was my grandfather's birthday, like one of the big ones. Maybe it was his 60th or 65, maybe he was retiring. I don't know the exact occasion, but it was in celebration of my grandfather. Or he and his wife for something. But it was, again, my dad is one of 5 kids. My mom is one of 5 kids. So both my parents grew up in large families. So it's a big ordeal when the entire family and all of their children, because, my dad and his siblings had all had kids, so it was a pretty big group. All at this fancy restaurant, and I ended up sitting next to my Aunt Cookie. My Aunt Cookie and I didn't really hit it off very well. At some point, my parents had gone on vacation, and my Aunt Cookie had babysat me. And I was a very difficult child in her estimation. I was a fussy eater. I only liked hot dogs and macaroni and cheese. And that was, a challenge, apparently, having a child that only ate hot dogs and macaroni and cheese. And she was very much girly girl, makeup, jewelry, clothes, heels, the whole thing. She was into all that. Now, of course, she's much older than me. She's older than my dad. She's the oldest of all of those kids. So if I was, 8, well, when she babysat me, I was probably closer to 6. I might not have even been in school yet, which would explain why she would babysit me in a neighboring town, or it was summer. I don't know. But, yeah, so we didn't really click. On the other hand, she adored my brother. She liked all of the boys, the grand boy sons, her nephews. She just loved little boys. Not so much the girls. But I ended up sitting right next to Aunt Cookie at this event and feeling very uncomfortable. This is not really a great story, but anyway. So I'm just, the fact that I've got somebody who's rather boisterous sitting next to me, drawing attention toward her, which is right next to me, not digging it. But anyway, during dinner at some point, I dropped my steak knife off the table into the top of her foot. She was very, very polite about it. She grimaced and winced and told me that it was, it's okay. Here's your knife. And, you know, then I looked under the table when she was busy talking to look, and yeah, her foot was bleeding all over the place because I impaled her foot with my steak knife. Oops. She now lives in Mexico. She moved to Mexico. She's been living in Puerto Vallarta for decades now. You don't see her very often. Like once every 20 years. Yeah, more than that. I've probably seen her in the last, I've probably seen her, I would say 6 times probably in the last 20 years. There we go. Okay. I will most likely speed that up and talk like a chipmunk because that was really kind of boring. But that's all ready to go now. Ready to go. I have I've added this now to my kit because if I'm wanting to remove a square while I work, like I said, I'm going to do 5x2s probably, or I might do 3x3 because that just seems better in my head aesthetically, and that would work out even too. But I would cut one side. Probably what would make the most sense would be to, this first one's not going to work right, but for the other ones, yeah, I could cut it this way, flip it back that way, work on the little spots, and if I didn't finish, fold it back rather than completely removing it. That is ready to go. Now, what we're going to do, I am going to, the plan is to just record the video, it's bugging me, of me doing this, and I can't stand it, I have to fix it. I'm going to record the video of me doing this, and then I'll be reading A Ghost of a Chance over the top. So we're going to fix this little hole. So this is how you fix a hole. So I have this very slight little spot, but it's going to bug me. So we're going to patch it. And this is how you fix carpeting. If you got a bad spot in your carpet, and you got the spare chunk they keep just in case. Okay, so I'm just laying it over the top. And then I'm going to just cut a little square. And I'm going to do it like itty bitty square. See how that is? It's right there. Just that little bit. Now, I could tape it down first. That'd probably be smart. Come on. It moved. Yeah, I should have taped it. Do as I say, not as I do. 2. 3. And 4. So this ends up being my little patch. And now I just pull that out. Now I flipped it over so many times I don't know which way's which. You get the idea. So, my little repair. So if you have a bad spot in your carpet, that's how you do it. Okay. I'm going to put it in wrong. The other way. If you do a triangle, it's probably easier to figure out which way it goes. There we go. I gotta get right in there. Get right in there. There. There you go. Alright. Yeah, that only took an hour. I was just gonna come up here and start sticking everything. Oh, you know what? If it's been an hour, you stopped taping too. No, you didn't. Oh, I'm so proud of you. Oh, look at that. It was an hour exactly. An hour and 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4. Okay. So now you know how long that takes. Okay, I am going to shut up now. And I'm going to start drilling. I got a video out today. And I'm planning on... Okay, again, I'm talking in the past. Never mind. Read her book. And what I'm going to do while I'm doing this is I'm going to watch my vids. Not my vids, your vids. See what everybody's up to. But before I do that, I will give you a little peek as to how my little table contraction works. Because I put this all together, that was months ago, right? I haven't had a big painting yet. Not one so big that I had to have all this stuff. But first, I did a Jolly Rancher. What's your favorite flavor of Jolly Rancher? Oh, is it right? Okay. Okay. Now, I'm going to take you down and show you this. I think I'm okay with the roundness here. That did want to slide though, didn't it? And I did do the little feet on the bottom to keep it from sliding. But they fell off. it does have its own little feet. But I think that these other ones, actually, they work a little better. I don't know where the other one is, probably in the bag somewhere, but we can put another one on. I can find them. Yeah, see, it's all gooey. It fell off. Corner here, where it's clean, not gooey. This one's gooey. Look at the new one. Can't throw anything away. What I was saying is I think that this is round enough that I don't need to worry about it creasing anything there. But I did do an experiment with a pool noodle on my light pad for when I'm on the couch. Because what I do when they're really big is I'm folding the painting under the light pad. So I did split. Where is it? It's over here. I did split my pool noodle. I'm just going to keep taking this one off and on outside. So you can imagine, I'm sitting on the couch and I've got that canvas wrapped around here. So that's fairly narrow to be wrapping it. And again, I always work from the top down, so I don't have anything with diamonds on it that's getting folded. It all goes that way. So I did cut a full noodle. Steak. So that the painting has something bigger, beefier to wrap around on my lap. And I did try the same thing on the desk. Now it will fit on there with just the one slit. But it just wants to pop off. So obviously I would have to cut like a little wedge out of it in order to do that. I don't know if it's necessary though. I just don't know that I need to do that, but I could if I wanted to. Just once I cut a wedge out of it, that's all it's good for anymore. Maybe just with the painting in there, it's enough pressure that it doesn't have anywhere to go. Okay. This down. tuning, obviously. But, yeah. So, yeah, that would be, you know, a nice bigger, rounder. And that's straight though. I could futz with this forever. So I'm going to show you now what's going on underneath the table. Take you behind the curtain. Okay. That pool noodle. My desk is fairly thick, so I don't know that it would have been a problem anyway, but got that in there. And then this pool noodle is basically just on a tension rod in my leg hole, holding the canvas against the bottom of the desk. And I have one on that side depending on whether I need to roll my top or if I'm sitting the other way. The opposite side is holding my electric cords. So if I were sitting that way, oh, the bathroom door's open. If I was sitting facing the other way, or if I had a friend over to diamond paint with me, we got the same thing going on both sides. And then it holds the cords out of the way for whatever side's not in use. If you were using both sides, you could just let the cords go down. But that's chargers for phone, tablet, computer, all that stuff. But yeah, so that's how I keep it off my lap. And it just so happens that the painting, my 2 foot by 3 foot, I mean, it fits like not a lot to spare. But that's my contraption. And you can see, I mean, my stool isn't, you know, obviously I'm going to have to pull it out further than that. So I've got plenty of room for my knees, so it's not laying on my lap. And I showed this months ago, but in case you haven't seen the archives, or if you're new to the channel, that's that. So here, finally, it's 9:30. Finally able to start. And then I'm going to turn my screen, put on some YouTube, and stick with somebody. I know Gwen's got a new one. I'll have to see what she's up to. I've also noticed that when I have got the phone this close to me in editing, you can really hear me breathe. Yeah. All right. You just always look so depressed. Do you have the blues, honey? Hmm? Okay. I think my dog has depression. Okay. I keep saying okay. It's like a friend came over to visit and I don't want you to go home. All right. Talk to you later.
All I can say is, God damn it, Snapchat, not everybody wants to be a stuffed animal. There's like 12 of these choices, and I want to be some, you know, like, smarmy dude every once in a while. Not everybody's into being all cute all the time. Come on.